The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Claritas 360 Migrations Update webinar. My name is Monique Martin, and I will be your host today. A quick FYI to those of you who have never joined one of our webinars, or for those of you who haven't been to one in some time, we do record these sessions and the playback will be provided in a follow-up email to you tomorrow. On your screen, you'll see a few options that help you participate and enjoy the content of this webinar, like the control panel that allowed you to choose your audio when logging in today. You should be able to change it at any point by selecting your preferred option from the available drop-down menu. We have added 2 handouts to this presentation of materials you may already have, but just in case you don't, they're there to provide additional support through your migration process. And our speakers will talk a little bit more about them later in the hour. One is the hardware-software requirements for Claritas 360, and the other is a handout for how to prepare your saved content in preparation for your migration to Claritas 360. Finally, the third section of your personal control panel to pay special attention to is the questions box. This is how you actively participate with us. We welcome and encourage questions you have to be submitted through there. Only we as your presenters will be able to see the questions or comments you provide. We will do our very best to answer your questions during their Q&A breaks today, but if we don't get to yours, we will definitely work with your Claritas rep to follow up with you in the days after the webinar concludes. I am absolutely thrilled to introduce our speakers for today, Jackie Braga and Darren Bennett. They're 2 superstar standouts from our product leadership team here at Claritas, and more importantly, experts on all things Claritas 360. Our first speaker, Jackie Braga, is a senior product manager. She's been with the company for 19 years and spent 10 years in client service supporting clients in the telecom and media industries before moving on to product leadership, where she currently manages Prime Location, Precision Code, and is involved in the development of Claritas 360. Next up, we have Darren Bennett. Darren joined Claritas in 2012 and since 2014 has been a manager of product development, now focused on the ongoing development of Claritas 360. With a background in geography and mapping, he previously served as a client support manager, where he helped clients leverage the most of their investments in Claritas data and tools to locate their top consumers and markets. Jackie's going to kick us off with a presentation today, so I will let her go ahead and get us started.
Thank you, Monique. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Jackie Braga, and I would like to discuss Claritas 360 migrations. Claritas 360 is our new online application, which will replace Claritas Segmentation and Market Solutions and Prime Location in the coming months. Before we jump into migrations, let's talk about configurations, which are the data and functionality you have access to within the platform. If you license Prime Location, that is your configuration. But if you license SMS, you can log into Claritas Segmentation and Market Solutions, and on the Create Content screen, open the Data Package dropdown, and you'll see the name of the configuration you license. So let's talk migrations. File Enhancement Meter Depend migrations are currently underway. File Enhancement Unlimited users will migrate soon once directory download functionality is available in the March 12th release. Business Insights users will also be able to begin migrations in mid-March, and Web Services users for File Enhancement and Business Lists will then migrate next. We expect to migrate the rest of the configurations or packages in the order listed, so those that include a greater breadth of functionality, such as Prime Location, Complete Insights, and Consumer Insights, will be the final configurations or packages to migrate. What can I do to prepare? You can pack up your current platform for migration. If you license Claritas Segmentation and Market Solutions, start by taking inventory. Inventory imported items such as locations, profiles, and map layers, and items created directly within SMS, such as custom reports, custom variables, analysis areas, and filtered lists. Save the latest copies of items you're still using as files outside of the platform. Flag the most commonly used items for migration, and delete any items that are no longer used. Now, the last step is not required. You don't have to delete items that you are no longer using, but it should be done if possible, as it will eliminate clutter and ease the process. Identify and document saved thematic map settings. Export any completed analyses needed after system retirement, such as completed reports, file enhancement projects, and business lists. Analysis areas, target groups, and profiles should be reviewed for completeness, as these items will be ported over from SMS, so you should have a solid list of what you expect to see in Claritas 360. However, the best resource for packing up your system is the Prepare Saved Content for Migration to Claritas 360 document. This document lists custom items by type, the steps required to export the items, and if they will be automatically ported over or not from SMS. You'll receive access to a landing page after the webinar that has a link to the document. What can I do to prepare if I license Prime Location? The first two steps are the same as for SMS. Inventory and save definitions of imported items and items created directly within Prime Location. PL users should also identify and document thematic map templates, custom map legends, and any customization to the appearance and labeling of map layers. Similar to SMS, Prime Location users should also export any completed analyses prior to platform retirement, such as completed batch data pulls and batch coding jobs. It's also important to determine if the task manager is used, and if it is, what tasks it is being used for. But again, the best resource for packing up your system is the Prepare Saved Content for Migration to Claritas 360 document, as it contains all of the information needed to back up and migrate custom items. Now let's talk about the migration process, where communication and teamwork will be crucial. First, pack up your current platform through the steps we discussed. Next, work with your client service team to determine when your migration can begin and receive your login information for Claritas 360. Once you have access, log in and start using the system to familiarize yourself with the application. There will be several instructor-led Claritas 360 training courses available in the coming months that you should schedule and complete, as well as self-paced online training available at your convenience. After you've completed training, work with your client service team to recreate your frequently used content in Claritas 360. At this point, you should be having regularly scheduled meetings with your client service team to address your specific needs. After all of these steps have been completed, you should be using Claritas 360 to complete your work and stop use of the legacy platform. This is when your migration is considered to be complete. There are a number of helpful resources available throughout the migration process. Your client service team is a great resource, and the more they know about how you use the application and the insights you're drawing from it, the better support they will be able to provide. The Prepare Save Content for Migration to Claritas 360 document provides a detailed breakdown of custom items by type and the steps needed to back up and prepare the items for migration. Although Claritas 360 is an online application, there are hardware-software requirements that we suggest reviewing. Please keep an eye out for our monthly Claritas newsletters, which will include links to short videos on Claritas 360 functionality and tips and tricks. Our training team has been very busy creating training courses and resources for Claritas 360, so please take advantage of the training opportunities. Classes will be conducted in 1-hour sessions instead of a half or whole day of online training, which makes it easier to both fit into your schedule and learn the content. As mentioned earlier, a landing page has been created that you will be given access to after the webinar, which contains links to the Prepare Saved Content document and hardware-software requirements. Let's take a quick look at the landing page now. At the top is a link to our latest short demonstration video on file enhancement. These are the things that excite us about Claritas 360, such as improved performance and advanced interactive mapping. Here are links to the migration documents I mentioned and additional short videos that have been provided previously. You'll also find one-page overviews on Claritas 360 and the File Enhancement and Business Insights packages. Now I'll turn it over to my teammate, Darren Bennett, for a demonstration of Claritas 360.
And as a reminder, when we switch over to Darren, if you have any questions during the presentation, you can go ahead and type them into that questions box. We'll also accept your positive comments too.
All right, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Monique. And thanks to everyone for joining us today. As Jackie and Monique mentioned, my name is Darren Bennett, and I'm Manager of Product Development. And I'm here to provide an update on the progress we've been making with the development of Claritas 360. So as you know, Claritas 360 is being designed to focus on the unique needs of our clients from both the user experience and a technology perspective. This will ensure that not only do you have the tools needed to do your job, but that you are able to do them intuitively and to find your answers quickly. We've been building completely new technology from the ground up, which is optimized for our data and our clients' needs. And this has meant incorporating your voice into the process. So far, we've held user experience testing for file enhancement, location filtering and business lists, asset management, and interactive mapping. So if you've joined us for any of these sessions, we really can't thank you enough for your insights and guidance in helping make Claritas 360 better. And I think that you'll see some of that feedback come to light here during the demo. So if you combine our UAT sessions with years of SMS surveys and direct feedback from client demos and collaborating with your sales teams, it shows we really are focused on creating a platform where you feel like your voice is heard. This means we're building a cleaner UI, rolling out new functionality, and offering faster performance across the application from mapping to interactive reporting. So now let's dig into some of the functionality we've added since our last webinar. And really the progress we've made in the past couple of months have really allowed us to envision complete end-to-end workflows that clients commonly run through in our legacy platforms. This includes being able to identify your key consumers, targeting the markets where we can find them, and strategizing the right messaging to effectively reach them. For example, let's say we're a sporting goods company looking for the best markets in California to target for a magazine coupon flyer. To do this, we can leverage Prism Premier and segmentation profiles in a number of different ways. So to identify which profile might be best for helping us target these markets, a profile ranking index report will allow us to cross-reference 2 or more profiles and see how many characteristics those 2 profile universes share. So for example, I can search for sporting goods profiles using the search mechanism within the system prompts. And I should mention that as we run through these reports, a lot of the prompting and usability should be quite familiar as we're using the same prompt requirements from SMS. So I've selected here a profile for shopping at any sporting goods stores in the past 3 months from the Claritas Consumer Profiles database. And we can then cross-reference that with our magazine and newspapers category within the print media offering. And I think based on what we're seeing here in terms of the overall performance of these prompts is that they're performing at a much higher clip. We're able to make larger selections, able to open larger folders at a speed vastly improved from our legacy platforms. So looking at our report output, we can see that the last issue of Runner's World magazine profile is right at the top with the highest index of 122, as well as a rank order correlation of 0.75. Not to mention the overall Runner's World profile just a few rows down has an ROC of 0.73. This loosely means that the 2 profiles share about 73 to 75% of the same segment makeup, or GUDS as I like to call it. Looking down on the report, we see higher ROC values for the last issue of Men's Health at 0.79 and Self Magazine at 0.78, but they don't index nearly as high as Runner's World does at 122. This means that not only do Runner's World readers have a strong positive correlation with shopping for sporting goods, but have a higher propensity overall to read Runner's World compared to the other publications. So with that, we can rationalize that digging into Runner's World readership profiles can help us identify the customers who would be most receptive to our coupon flyer. So with that in mind, we can kick back out to our home page, either by clicking on the Claritas 360 banner here at the top of the screen. And I do also want to call out the left-hand slide-out panel where you can navigate to any report, any component within Claritas 360, regardless of where you are in the application very easily. So within consumer targeting, we can go to Target Builder, and we could begin to define and delineate different targets that might represent different personas for our ideal customer. So we can select Prism Premier, and we can actually elect to define segments using these profiles. And if I search for Runner's World again here, again, the search mechanism there is very speedy. We can make our selection and generate the data. And here we have a game plan grid, essentially a graphical representation of how this profile pans out in terms of the segment by segment breakdown and the usership and interaction with the specific profile. So overall, it looks like the segments over here on the right-hand side are indexing higher than the segments on the left-hand side, and conversely, segments closer to the top represent a larger share of the overall behavior percent composition. So I'm starting to see a little bit of separation here. It looks like we have a nice chunk here right around 110 to 130, another a little bit of a broader chunk of segments between 140 and about 200, and then a handful of segments that are really indexing very high, as well as a great percent composition here, almost at 300 index for them. So while I can use this SWOT grid, or the game plan grid rather, to just lasso the segments, which I will do right now, and I can say this is my best target for Runner's World, and I can even change the theme color so that I get that color passed through in different reports and even in mapping. I can create that target. Lasso another group. And a third as well. These are still pretty good targets here. And name my target group. I do also want to call out very quickly that if we pan over to the grid view, we still have that traditional view that many of you might be familiar with within SMS, where you can really just drag and drop segments into their target groups, and you can even apply additional filters based on different segment descriptors like household or age, urbanicity, household income, etc. So we'll create that target group. And this screen that we see here after that successful creation of that target group is a screen that you'll see throughout Claritas 360. It's really just our way of showing you the path forward and letting you know that once you've created an asset such as a target group or even an analysis area, imported locations and created radii around them, appended segmentation, what have you, we're going to give you a set of options for you to take it down to the next step. So in the case of a target, it might mean we can launch a target concentration report. We can go back and create another target. So you can imagine that if it was for analysis area creation, you could view those on a map. For appending segmentation to a large file, you could create a profile from that. So these selections will change based on the asset you've created. And in this case, we want to go to a target concentration so we can begin to identify the markets within California what might be best for our coupon promotion based on that set of targets we just created. So again, we'll select Prism Premier here. And we have our target group for Runner's World, our good, better, best targets there. And like I said, these prompts should seem very familiar considering the legacy products. And we'll look at the state of California by CBSA, which should give us a couple dozen different markets to rank next to each other. So in the previous webinar, we were able to show some reporting to Excel and PDF formats, but for today, I'm pretty excited to and happy to show you the progress we've made in interactive reporting, which we believe has really opened up the standard templates to customize interaction and will allow you to tweak your report output to easily suit your needs. So on top of that, also, we're seeing significant improvements in performance as well, and not just in the overall report runtime, as you just saw with our report generating in just a few seconds, but this means in terms of the overall usability of the report itself, the report grid, with being able to manipulate and editing the report output and display itself. So as we can see our nice clean grid here, we're able to scroll and identify the different metrics for our different markets. If we wanted to sort, in this case, we're looking at our top target, our best target for Runner's World Magazine. We can sort by index simply by clicking on that column header, even for the other targets as well. So looking at the index, it looks like Oxnard, Thousand Oaks is really at the top there. San Diego, San Jose, right there with them. Same for percent pen. We're seeing those top 3 markets come to the fold there. But let's say we wanted to maybe clean up the overall viewability of this report. This configurator tool, which we're introducing with Claritas 360's interactive reports, really allows the user to customize the look and feel of their report grids at a level not previously seen and not previously as usable as we had in segmentation of market solutions. So to give you a really quick overview here, this all fields column on the left-hand side is going to be all the fields available for you to display within your report. The values indicate the actual fields that are visible currently in your report. All you need to do to sort and reorder these values is simply eliminate the ones you don't want to see by clicking on the minus icon. Although if you did want to bring that back in, all you have to do is drag and drop it back into your values column there. Same goes for reordering the values present within your report already. So if you wanted to look at index first, you can just drag that to the top. And then maybe we only wanted to look at index percent pen and comp. And by clicking done there, we can see how the report refreshes very quickly, and we have a nice condensed view just to give us a little bit more clarity to the overall visual language of this report. Another cool thing to show off here, we can even visualize the report in a different manner. So if we wanted to move our segments to the row labels and our analysis area to the columns, maybe just have our segments, our targets as the rows, and we wanted to go across and view the different markets, just an easy way to give you a different sort of pivoting look at the data within this overall standard template for target concentration. So I'll just go back to the standard default view there. One other thing to call out here, we have additional export options here within Claritas 360. So we can export to Excel, CSV, TSV, and HTML formats in case you wanted to view it within a web browser. We're giving you options to export all items, so that would give you the view as if you had just run it, the standard template pretty much that would provide you. But then the visible items would allow you to export it out with the existing edits that you made through that configurator there. So back to the data. Like I said, it looks like Oxnard, San Diego, San Jose are our top 3 markets. Oxnard and San Diego are a little bit better aligned in terms of the overall percent penetration, but I think the thing that really drives San Diego home as probably the market we want to be focused on is the fact that it just has a way higher count. So even though that it might be indexing higher, a little bit more percent pen for Oxnard, San Diego is just so big that it gives us a broader net to cast to get the readers of Runner's World magazine in this case to maybe see our flyer and go buy our goods. So we'll use the San Diego CBSA in this case to dig a little deeper and maybe identify some lower level geographies that we can really target for a really focused analysis. And to do that, I'm going to leverage our interactive map and show off some of our new functionality there associated with thematics. So on our last webinar, we were able to show you some of the performance and the overall improved usability of the map. We are leveraging ESRI's best-in-class API for our back-end mapping technology, and it has given us a lot more flexibility with just the overall performance of the map, being able to do more with the map from a functionality standpoint as well. So if I wanted to zoom in very quickly using this zoom to geography capability, I can just dig right down into the California by CBSA, select San Diego, zoom right in very quickly. You can see all the different road detail that might be populated there. We'll just turn off our feature layer there for now. Use our zoom to box for a little bit of a tighter view. And then again, just to reiterate the performance and the usability of this Claritas base map, we can go in and turn off our city labels and only display interstate highways. So very easy to customize the base map, as it is customized the overall look and feel of your map, whether you're using the base map or licensed layers like the zip code, or in this case, we'll dig into the thematics. So knowing that we might want to look at things at the zip code layer, or zip code level, excuse me, we'll select zip code here. And again, our extent in this case will be the San Diego CBSA. And knowing that we already have this market identified as being a market where Runner's World readers are prevalent, and we want to identify the zip codes within this broader geography where people might really respond to our flyer for sporting goods. So to do that, I can select from consumer buying power, aggregate expenditure estimates for sporting goods stores. And a little bit dissimilar from what you're familiar with in SMS, we won't need to select things like the subtotal method or the number of ranges before clicking create. Once we have those three main data points, the base geography, the extent, and then the variable, our map will go ahead and draw the theme very quickly. The color is very vibrant, and you can even adjust some of the subtotaling using the slider here. And additionally, if I don't like that color scheme, I have the option to swap out a new one. We've added a few more, including hot and cold, sunset, blue, sort of replicating what you have available in SMS now. And then we're able to actually customize the colors themselves using the color grid here. So if I wanted to, I can say, well, let's do a little bit of a variation on that hot to cold theme there. Click apply. The theme will reapply. We can see the sliders updated as well. And it looks like we've identified a couple of zip codes that might really be worth our time and really are great to focus for this coupon flyer handout. So San Diego zip code 92130, 92129, 92126, and then down here in Chula Vista 91910. So in future releases, we'd be able to just select these on the map itself and right click and be able to create an analysis area and then get additional reports run using the execute report button here. But what I wanted to do real quick, just to show you some of the other additional functionality we've added within existing modules, such as analysis area creation within the map, is that let's say that we've zoomed in and we have a location, along the stretch of highway, and we want to just get a quick drive time scenario and say, well, within the zip code, what's maybe a rough, 15, 10-minute drive time around that zip code. From a right-click menu, we can select create analysis area. We can select drive time, 15 minutes. And that drive time area will automatically populate on the map as a new analysis area. And we can actually continue to add more as well. So like I said, once we have that area created, we can actually launch a consumer concentration report. Select any host of consumer buying power data, demographics. So overall, we can see how the interactive map really allows you to leverage the most of your data in your tools, and really has the performance behind it to get you from point A to point B as quickly and seamlessly, and with all the different customization options in terms of the styling of the map as you might want. So that pretty much concludes the content we wanted to demo for today, and we really hope that you've liked what we've been showing you so far with Claritas 360, and we're all very excited to be rolling out to you later this year. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Jackie to finish this up.
And before we get to Jackie, we did have a couple of questions come into the comment box here. One of the questions was, are there any documents that explain the difference between all of the report options?
In terms of the overall prompts of the reports themselves, I'm assuming?
I think our question asker can type in some clarification, but it might be, I'm reading it as the different report options that are available. Is there any type, just general documentation that explains what each report offers or what each report does?
There is some great information within the Claritas 360 help. So help has been significantly improved from SMS. As far as there are screenshots and high-level instructions, as well as very detailed steps. And within help, there is a description of each one of the reports. I know that there is quite a bit of information on each of the segmentation reports. Some of the demographic reports may not have quite as much description to them, but there's definitely some helpful information within the help in 360 on the reports. How to use them and how to run them and the benefit you can get from them.
Perfect. And Darren, we had a question come in. Could we import maps done by Esri or Google Map to Claritas 360?
So I'm going to tackle that two ways. You can import things like boundaries and data into Claritas 360, so polygon files, data assigned to polygons, data assigned to zip codes. In terms of importing an entire map with different style settings, different base layers, road layers, etc., that would have to be taken as, I think, maybe a takeaway item for us to look into, just because we would need to have a more defined set of requirements of what the expectation would be.
Okay, just a couple more questions that came in. Can the zip codes be added to the map?
Yes, absolutely. I didn't show it this webinar. I believe we showed it on the last one, but yes, of course, you can display any standard geography data set that you would license from us. So everything from zip codes, block groups, industry boundaries, DMA boundaries, any of the census geographies. So yes, absolutely.
And a final question before we continue. I love the thematic optimizer and how responsive the color adjustments are. The labeling is super clean, and I see the real-time analysis area creation being used a lot. Can you save thematic preferences, colors, ranges, etc.?
Yep, absolutely. We do have a load theme option right there on the first screen of that theme manager. And then even if you don't use that option and you go through and create a theme on your own, you can actually save that template for a future thematic map, which would allow you to not only bring that map up within the interactive map, but you can use that as your template for batch reporting as well.
Great, so we'll let Jackie continue, and if we have some more questions that come in, we'll address those at a later time.
Okay, thank you, Monique. What are the next steps? It's very important that you begin to pack up your platform now for a smooth and successful transition. A member of your client service team will be in touch to discuss your migration timeline, and all registered users will receive an email when registration opens for our instructor-led training courses. And we understand that migrating from one application to another is a big effort that will require time and work, but we will be your partners in this journey, providing support and help along the way. Thank you again for your time today. Questions?
Okay, perfect. We did have a couple of other questions come in. One of them was just to clarify what was previously asked. If I have polygons in Esri, I will be able to import them into Claritas and pull demos for my clients from them?
Yep, absolutely. So we'd be able to import a shape file, tab file, any type of polygon file we should be able to handle the importing into Claritas 360. So yes, definitely.
And another question, ease of reporting. I'm guessing they're asking how easy is it to, or excuse me, ease of exporting. I guess they're asking how easy is it to export.
So the export, the reports, well, we do have the one option where you can run the report direct to Excel or PDF for a number of reports. That would provide you an instantly downloadable file. And then if you're working with an interactive report, like I said, we do have a number of different export options, not only exporting a formatted report that with changes that you made through that configurator, but also exporting, that original template, the standard template, to Excel, CSV, TSV, and an HTML file. So it's just an additional click off of the report interface itself.
Great. And just a reminder, if anyone else has any questions or comments, feel free to type them into that questions box. We do still have a few minutes left, so we can probably get to one or two more. We did have a comment earlier that when you were doing your demo, Darren, that it was very exciting and it was awesome to see. So thank you for your positive comment.
Yes, absolutely.
And if we don't have any more questions that come in, I just want to say thank you so much for all of you joining us today. We hope you learned some valuable information to get you through the migration process and understand that we are here for you every step of the way to support you and make sure you have a smooth and exciting transition to Claritas 360. Like I said in December's webinar, this is certainly not the last time you'll be hearing from us from a migration standpoint, so keep checking your inbox for emails from us and bookmark that migration landing page that Jackie showed earlier. Once we send out the playback to this, there will be a link to that so you can access that easily. It's going to be included in that email tomorrow along with the playback in case you missed anything we discussed today, if you were late or if you just didn't catch something. And as an FYI, that migration landing page is your one-stop shop in addition to your Claritas representative for migration materials, updates, demo videos, and more. And we will constantly be refreshing it with new content. So once again, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and an even better weekend. Thank you, guys.